Most people believe becoming rich requires intelligence, discipline, and constant effort, but in reality, the people who often build the most wealth are the ones who remove themselves from the process entirely. The biggest lie in investing is that you need to constantly make smart decisions. The truth is, the more decisions you make, the more mistakes you introduce. Human brains evolved for survival, not investing. And when money is involved, our emotions quietly sabotage our long-term wealth. Fear tells us to sell when markets fall. Greed tells us to buy when prices are already high. And this cycle repeats for decades. Millions of investors unknowingly destroy their own portfolios. But what if the smartest investing strategy was actually laziness? Not careless laziness, strategic laziness. The wealthy quietly discovered a strange hack long ago. The less they interfere with their investments, the better their results tend to be. Instead of trying to predict the market, they build a system that invests automatically. This simple idea is called set and forget investing, and it turns one of humanity's biggest weaknesses into an advantage, because the real enemy of wealth is not lack of information. It is human behavior. The market is not defeated by intelligence. It is defeated by systems. And once the system is built, the best move is surprisingly simple. Do nothing. The secret behind set and forget wealth is surprisingly simple. It removes the most dangerous variable in investing: you. Every time investors watch the market, they feel the urge to act, and every action creates another opportunity to make the wrong decision. This is why professional investors rely heavily on automation. They remove the temptation to interfere. Instead of trying to predict the future, they schedule investments to happen automatically. Every month, money flows into investments whether markets are up or down. No panic, no excitement, no guessing. This strategy quietly uses a powerful concept called dollar cost averaging. Instead of trying to buy at the perfect time, you buy consistently over time. Sometimes you buy high, sometimes you buy low. But over long periods, those prices average out, and the market's long-term growth begins working in your favor. Here is the strange part. This strategy requires almost no intelligence. It doesn't require predicting crashes. It doesn't require reading financial news. In fact, the more you try to outsmart the market, the more likely you are to underperform it. Because successful investing is not about brilliance, it's about behavior control. And automation solves that problem beautifully. It turns investing into a background process of life. Money flows into investments, time passes, and something extraordinary begins happening in the background. Something far more powerful than intelligence. It's called compounding, and it quietly turns patience into wealth. But most people never experience this power, because they interrupt the process too early. They panic during crashes. They sell during fear. And they unknowingly destroy the one system that could have made them wealthy. Here is where the story becomes almost unbelievable. Because the set and forget strategy doesn't rely on huge amounts of money. It relies on something much more powerful: time. Imagine investing a small amount every single month. Nothing dramatic, just a steady contribution. At first, the growth looks painfully slow, almost invisible. But compounding works like a snowball rolling downhill. Slow at first, then suddenly unstoppable. At some point, the growth from your investments becomes larger than the money you add. Your money starts working harder than you do. And this is where many ordinary investors accidentally become millionaires, not through brilliance, but through patience. In fact, the greatest financial advantage small investors have is that they can ignore the noise. They don't need to manage billions. They only need one simple system. A system that automatically invests, automatically compounds, and most importantly, a system that protects them from themselves. Because the hardest part of investing has never been information. It has always been psychology. And this reveals one of the most powerful principles of wealth. Systems beat motivation. Motivation fades. Discipline breaks. But a well-designed system runs quietly in the background for decades, even when you're distracted, tired, or lazy. And that's the real lazy millionaire strategy. Not working harder, but designing smarter. You build the system once. Then you let time do the heavy lifting. Because wealth isn't created in moments of excitement. It's created in long periods of boredom. And the investors who understand this secret do something that feels almost unnatural. They stop touching their investments. They let the system run. They let compounding work. Because in the end, the most powerful investing move is often the simplest. Set it and forget it.